thinking about values, a big like core value for Aaron and I is just fun. Like life should be fun. Yeah. And that family dynamic to me should be one of the defining characteristics, at least for our family. And so one thing I was just thinking about as you were reading that is our dance parties. And it's super simple because like Aaron's a good dancer, I am not. But I don't care because that's not the point. We have a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old. We're just trying to have fun. So we do this thing where like as the sun sets, we turn off all the lights in the house. And then we bought this little cheap like Amazon kind of disco-y ball thing that puts all the colored lights. And then we have the speakers and we just blare music and we just dance. And maybe that's 10, 15 minutes. But to see the joy of the kids and them rolling around, and you wouldn't quite call it dancing, but we laugh so hard. We take videos and we dance together. We hold each other. And so for us, like we need to be having fun all the time. Like I want our kids to like look back and be like, golly, like that was such a core part of who we were. And that comes into the way that even like simple things like playing with toys and stuff with each other, like we try really hard to like put your phone down, be present and like have fun. Like I don't care what it is. You could be outside playing at the playground, swimming at the pool, but make sure that you're laughing and smiling a lot.
Yeah, it's really cool because for Steven and I think I can say this confidently for both of us, how we connect with other people, but especially how we connect with each other is like we laugh. Laughing is our favorite thing to do with our friends, with each other. We love a good laugh. But then I've also seen it in our kids, like our son who's 4 and our 2-year-old. Our 2-year-old's crazy. She is chaos and amazing and we're obsessed with her.
The best.
But she'll do crazy things to make our son laugh. And like we'll sit across the dinner table and he'll look at her and he goes, I like you. And it's like, oh, she's making you laugh and like you're having fun and that's building connection. And that's so cool because I'm like, that's how I build connection. That's how Steven builds connection. Absolutely. So it's just become this thing of like, oh, okay, like this actually matters. And there's so many other values that matter as well, but it's cool finding the unique ones that I wouldn't expect when I think about building a family and having kids. Like we're gonna have these values. You know, fun isn't one of the ones that you hear a lot, but it's been a pillar for our family and it makes it a lot more fun for us too, which is great. It's a big plus.
I was thinking, I didn't even have that as a value at first until we watched y'all, but then also our last child. It was like I was so in my head of, I want to do this well. Like I just want to, I guess a value for us was like, whatever we do, we want to do it well. Like we want our kids to know that maybe intentionality is our core value in our home of just, our kids are going to know we were very intentional with every decision we made, everything that we did in the quiet moments and in the chaos. And so I think fun was so, it surprised us. Our last one is just like, oh gosh.
A ball of laughs.
He is, and he was the most smiley baby, and he's the one that will like, when tension is high in the chaos of our home, because we have 4 kids, ranging from 13 to 6, and which is wild. He'll be the comic relief. When we're all frustrated, he'll make he'll make us all laugh. And I always say it all the time, like, thank God for Jackson. Like, thank God for all of them because they each bring, even honestly, a deep conviction for different values because they carry something different, all of them. So I think that intentionality is probably, for us, bleeds into that, is that we wanted to be intentional because we saw that each individual child was so different and carried something so beautiful that we were like, oh, well, we didn't know we valued that until we had you. And then now we really value it. Yeah. And so it's that's like, cool. Right, like when you have that intentionality and that connection, I'm not gonna cry right now. It just like created values in our home that we never even thought about, but it was so beautiful and exactly what we needed.
Yeah, for sure. I was just sitting here thinking, like, I think the reason he's such a comic relief to most tense moments is because he doesn't understand what's going on.
Valid.
Or he just flat out doesn't care what's going on because he's like, already, I'm just waiting for the moment for everybody to stop screaming so I can say something stupid.
Yeah. But it is to make us laugh.
And it's his comments and things that he does are very intentional. It was like, oh yeah, everybody's tense. I'm fixing to shut this down.
That's cool.
And so, and sometimes you can look at him like while we're even in intense moments, you look over at him, he's kind of like zoned out, but he's got a smirk on his face. I'm like, oh, he's fixing to do it. It's coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as soon as everybody calms down, he's like, it just says something random. It's like,
Yeah.
that's not even on subject, on topic, or even anything nobody's talked about today. But yeah, being intentional has always been one of our bigger values, I think. And then having Jackson now, it's like intentional fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it doesn't always have to be intentional, like, oh, this is what we're doing. But even like y'all said, like dance parties and stuff, like we've had dance parties, we've really tried to implement Sabbath on
For sure.
on weekends and stuff. So it's no screens for anybody, no TV, no nothing, no phones. And so
Well, we tested all the kids with not tested, but we sat down and discussed even love languages, like intentionally finding out how are you receiving love? Because I think I'm giving you love, but if it's not speaking the language you understand, then you could go all years and never actually feel loved by me. And
Yeah, so whenever we
that would be
sat-
so heartbreaking.
yeah, I went and bought like one of the big Post-it paper boards or whatever where you can tear off the paper. And it's like, all right, guys, here's all the different things. Let's talk about all the different things that y'all feel love in. And it was like, Kate, you go first, and then so on and so forth. And every single one of them, I think we did 3 per kid.
Yeah, we were all different.
We were all different, but every single one of us, out of the 6 of us, we all had quality time
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
as one of our top 3.
Which
really cool.
shook us because it was like, oh, we actually enjoy being together then. That's what we're saying, is that we love each other and we want to be around each other. And that even shook me because you get in your head, right? As a parent, you always analyze and you always think, am I doing enough? Am I building the love and connection, but also turning you into a decent human being?
Yeah.
Like, am I building beautiful discipline in your life and character? And you know what I mean? And so you're just, for me, I don't know about anyone else, but I can be pretty hard on myself when it comes to just the maybe the product of what I'm hoping will come from it. And then it's like,
Yeah.
no, it's not the product, it's the journey. And hearing your kids go, no, one of our favorite, like our top love languages is quality time because I just want to be with you because you make me feel that.
Of course, then you throw 4 kids into the mix and you realize that I have no control over the quality of life that you have from here on out.
right.
That's cool. One area that was really unexpected, I think, for us and for me personally, when we went through writing down the values was kind of just, we keep thinking of it as our kids, but I actually personally was transformed just by doing it. I think for a couple of reasons. One would just be the accountability that it kind of held when I wrote it down. And one of the things that we wrote down as a value was pursue your passions.
Yes. Oh, this is so good.
we were, at first when we wrote it down and were intentional about it, we were really we were really trying to support as best we could in every single capacity for our kids if they had a passion. And then, one of the things that just kind of stirred up was we have to live this out as well.
Yeah.
It can't just be
Yeah.
y'all do it, and here we are too, I think,
Yeah.
is we've made major life decisions based off of staying true to those values. And we've seen so much positive residual effects in our kids by actually us living them out. Less you do it, don't just,
Right.
read it. And I think it kind of flowed into all the other things, it went from value and then it went to, our characters of what the things that were, one of those 6 character skills that we use is do what you say you're going to do,
Yes.
and then
Like be a person of your word.
be a person
through.
of your word was a big one that we tried to really develop, even personally as well, right? And then skills.
And then I think one thing flows into the other. So I think just to note about pursuing your passions and dreams, I had the exact same thought. I think for the first probably 12 years of mothering and parenting, I was so focused on, carrying all of these things out, more in the last 5 years, but just for my kids specifically. But even you know, just to see her sitting here and being a part of this and watching us pursue the thing that we were like, there's no turning back. Like, this is what we're deciding to do. We believe this is a passion and dream of ours, and we believe in it. And so, therefore, character, what you said, it's like we're gonna follow through on it. There's no turning back. We're going for it. And then skill, like, how does that now in relation develop skills, right? So it's all kind of intertwined. And I think for sure the pursuing of dreams and passions can be, it's such an up and down, ebb and flow endeavor that, like, this whole project has been, like, it's been such a grind. And I want, and Jordan wants to like flow into our kids, that it's like, if you have something that you want to go for, it doesn't matter if you're tired, you got to go for it. Tonight I'm staying up till it's done. You know, work hard, get gritty. There's going to be time to rest, but that whole concept, especially I think because both of us grew up in homes with not a lot of discipline.
Defining discipline.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd
Like,
say.
what does discipline mean? I think it means something different to us than maybe our parents. Like, my mom, super hardworking, super disciplined, but I think a lot of the time I wasn't really around and she wasn't around. We weren't around each other for me to really experience that and see her work through that process of working hard. My dad, I think discipline in the smaller ways of life, but what we're talking about here is actually like having a huge dream and just like, let's go, like full steam ahead. We're going for this. So I think a lot of what we're trying to pursue now is based off also of just being consistent and being disciplined, and if that all makes sense.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm thinking of like skills that pair so well with what you're saying, because over the last maybe 2 years, maybe a year and a half, like a core conviction for me that is now turning into a skill set for the kids is like, more or less anything in life that's really worth doing, anything of great value, is going to be difficult. It's going to be hard.
Yes.
And actually the most fulfilling things in life are the things that you have to have that level of grit, tenacity, consistency over a long period of time, and work really hard to accomplish anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And of course that applies to marriage, any relationship, doing a business, starting a business. I love entrepreneurship, so that's all really fun for me, but any dream that you have. And so I realized, like, I've been thinking a lot for my kids, like, I want them to know that they can do anything that they put their mind to. I want them to dream really big.
Yeah.
But in order for them to actually have the capacity to do that, they need to get acquainted with the idea of doing things that are hard,
Yes.
doing
Yeah.
things that are inconvenient.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And without calling out one of my kids, one of them is like kind of full tilt all the time. The other tends to be a lot more cautious and reserved by nature.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily bad. They both have their inherent strengths and weaknesses, right? But with that particular child, what I have started doing is like, okay, buddy, like, you gotta have to do something that's hard. And so, for example, recently we were in the pool, and I'm just gonna say he just didn't want to learn to swim.
Yeah.
And his sister's half his age has already started to learn to swim. And finally I was just like, son, like, we're gonna learn.
Yeah.
Like, I know this is hard and you don't want to do it. And it took about 2 days. And all of a sudden his entire countenance changed. And when he finally like put his head under the water and just started kicking, and he came up, and then mom and dad are like cheering for him, making a big deal about it. Seeing the excitement and fulfillment on his face was so rewarding. But I realized in that moment, like, you need to understand, like, learning a new skill, doing something worthwhile is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm literally now starting to think, like, what hard things can I reasonably expect my kids to learn and try to do? And the next one on the docket for me is like, you're going to learn to ride a bike, buddy. You know? And it's not going to be fun a lot of times, you know, but once you learn it, man, that feeling, I think that sets you up for success. So anyway, that's a skill
And
for
I
us.
also think like the skill part and the character go really hand in hand for me, because I grew up super timid and like, I don't know about all this. I'm really outgoing in a lot of different ways, but I'm like, if I don't think I can get it on the first try, I'm not going to try. I'm just not going to do it. If I'm not going to be the best, or if I'm not going to get it immediately, I don't even want to try. And really don't like that about myself. And now seeing it in one of our kids, I'm like, oh crap, like I don't know how to fix this. I've got 30 years, now I'm gonna figure it out. But for me, I think of different characteristics and valuing them and maybe going like, oh, I don't know if I have that. And just deciding like, I'm gonna have that. I want
Yeah.
that characteristic. And just deciding on the front end, like I want that to be like, oh, Erin is hardworking, or Erin is, disciplined when it comes to things that she's not good at. Like I'm gonna make that decision on the front end, and then I'll figure out what skills I need to get there.
Yeah.
And just having that kind of grit and I don't know, angry attitude. It's just like I'm gonna get it done. I'm 30. I'm 31.
I don't know how old you are, going to be honest. I think you're 31.
It literally doesn't matter. I'm in my 30s.
I was gonna say, it doesn't matter.
But I've gotten to the point where like I just want to do it because
Yeah.
okay, I try it. It doesn't go the way I planned. Boo hoo! Like that's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
And I want to model that for our kids. I want to feel that. I want to feel confident about myself in these, characteristics that have a lot of value to me. And I want to grow in skills because that's a fun thing to do. But I want our kids to see us doing the same, like you were saying, like leading by example, and just like, well, Mom was in her 30s and she picked up boxing or like whatever. It's just like, why not? You can do it.
One of the most important things about, I think, the skills portion of this first week is that we take for granted teaching our kids sometimes how significant getting them just to clean up after the toys. When you write it down and you're saying, hey, we're going to learn together how to do this thing, the level of confidence that comes from them. And once they start to learn it, you celebrate it. You're like, wow, hey, you did a great job. But you wrote it down. They can see that you're being intentional about it. Now they're building confidence and they get excited because they're like, wow, like I'm actually learning something. I'm doing something. And just that entire process, I think, is transformative. And then it comes to big things like learning how to swim. They know what it feels like to learn a skill, and they know what it feels like to accomplish something like that. So I think they all like really work hand in hand. And we can't even take for granted the fact that when we write down things like as simple as making our bed in the morning as a skill that we learn, it becomes much more, I think, of a thing. It becomes much more profound, and it becomes more exciting for the kids. And I think, we've had to.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how when we first rolled out our family culture, I think they were itty bitty. Like Lila was probably 6, maybe. We kind of made little catchphrases for each of our values, and then we would create like an action to that value. So one of them was be brave and seize the day. It's like we want to be brave. Okay, so it'd be like superheroes, like be brave and seize the day, And so it's like, not only writing it down, but being able to make it fun, right? Because I think at that time too, we were trying to pursue fun, maybe because you're so serious, but
Definitely.
but yeah,
Counterintuitive. So
And then we'd write it up on our whiteboard, and then it transformed, and we did it again. We had new values as they got older, and we one time decided to do like these memory type things where it's like, okay, let's memorize our values and the action. And we made prizes, and we made it super engaging. So it wasn't like, it might be as simple as writing it down and having it up on your wall, but the limits are endless as to how you want to actually roll those things out in your own home. You can make them fun, or, you can make them super intentional. Or
I wasn't opposed to bribing our kids, with like learning the values. I'm not going to pretend to be that guy, but if they're like, hey, Dad, I'd love to, get on my iPad right now, I'll be like, tell me all the 5 values right now. And they're like, bang, if they could write them off, I'm like, cool, then you get some time. And we would just do, even at nighttime, we would try to celebrate them as much as we could, and others. Like, hey, I would love to have some more this or that, Dad. And I'd say, hey, to the other kid, Jonas, like, tell me one thing of value you saw in Lila today. As like a way that he could earn something by recognizing the value that she was doing, So I think
Just
you can
make
get
it
creative
habitual.
of how you like integrate it into your life. I'm not saying that's the way, but
No, but it's good because, again, it goes back to when your family is on board, right, with your values.
Yeah.
Then I can look at my kids in homeschool or whatever in different moments of life And we have a phrase, like a thing that we say all the time to the kids is, you can do hard things.
Yeah.
So going back to what you said, it's like, even like emotions, right? Like when we have different children that are timid or they don't want to do it or stubborn and feisty and are like putting their foot down, right? When they know, when they have connection with you, they have the value, they know your why.
Yeah.
Then when we can read our children and know when to push, right? Or whatever. I think this generation, we can tend to like really swing on the opposite side of the pendulum as the last generation, right? Last generation with emotions, it was like shut it down, sweep it on the rug sometimes, or just didn't know how to face it, maybe, or didn't have the tools to learn about it. In this generation, there's a lot of conversation around like emotions being how they navigate, whether it's gentle parenting or how they work through conflict. It's all about like, I got to know the emotion of my child so that we can move forward. And I'm like, can we find a healthy medium where we're very connected to our children? We know their emotions. They're able to walk through that with you and you help them identify it. But then you go, emotions are great guides, but they're not your ruler. Like they're not your king. They're not the teacher. You can identify that and go, okay, how can I overcome that in this moment? What are we always tell the kids, like, you have boundaries, even with your reactions, with your, you know what I mean, how you face whatever emotion you're feeling. You're not allowed to just do whatever you want because you feel like you're right. And so for us, when it comes to like teaching them swimming, or it's teaching them these things that they do not want to do, right? Because you're going to get to that in this book. You're going to go through things that the kids are like, well, I don't really want to pick a skill set, or I don't want to do this or whatever.
Yeah.
For us, I'm like, with our kids, we've learned, if we have that deep connection, if we're all on board with the value that when I'm pushing my child, they know it's because I love them and I'm for them and I'm fighting for the values we all fought for together. We all agreed and did this together, right? Yeah. Because you just experience that with a lot of parents of, I don't know how to build this. And I'm like, well, if it comes back to that, all those skills, all those things, when you push them, they'll do it because they're safe. They feel safe because they feel connected. They feel loved, right? Like, your son, it's like he actually fought for it and did it because he knew at the end of the day, dad had him, even when he didn't want to do it. And that dad was a safe person to push him. And I think a lot of times we don't want to talk about that with skill sets, particularly, right? Is that we want to build that in them where it's like, you can trust me to push you, to fight for something, you know, and then having the character to follow through, right? My kids, if you ask them right now, what's character? All of them will immediately say character is doing the right thing when no one's looking. And it's just that thing of like, okay, if we keep building right values, then the character and now the skills and now our mission, right? The mission of it all. What's the point of it all? What are we doing? What are we fighting for? Well, if we build all of that, then we can go into that, right?
I think with the mission, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, I don't think there's like a too young of an age to start having a mission.
Right.
It might change as time goes on, but I feel like it's so much easier at a younger age to start, you know, formulating a direction. And I think that it's kind of one of those things that we don't take enough time to sit down as couples or as families, or to just think, what is our mission? What is our mission? What is our purpose? You know? And I think for us, when we started to really think through that process, even just going through the process itself was transforming. You know, you really started to really hone in on what you value, what is important in life, and all the characters and the skills, it all kind of like flowed, you know, much simpler.
And being aware too of things that you carry from your past that is now
Totally.
being transferred to your own family, for sure.
Which is beautiful when you bring the kids in, right? I don't know about y'all, but did you do that with your kids? Because when we brought our kids together, it was like, what do y'all think our value is? What do y'all think like we're fighting for in character and skills?
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, you'll learn real quick if you are all actually on the same page.
Yeah.
Or if they're even receiving what you think you're giving.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
Totally. Okay.
Well, I thought I could end our little session here with a little question. What do you think is the most important thing we teach each other as a family?
I think for our family, like our core household family, it's respect and boundaries of each other. Trying to just not everybody gets so caught up in their head that they're like, oh, I'm right, you're wrong. But trying to like fully understand the full dynamic, like, hey, there's two sides of every story, there's two sides of every coin. And so trying to get them to slow down in their moments of frustration or excitement or whatever it may be. That one phrase that we use a lot now is like, how are people experiencing you? And trying to get them to understand, like, you know, take the time to understand what that person's feeling towards you, and make sure you're respecting their stuff just as much as you want them to respect yours.
Yeah, we just had a conversation too of like, we have some children that value, like they're very empathetic, and so they value like everyone really understanding. Then we have some that value truth, right? And then and it's like we've had to look at them and go, well, that might be your truth, but someone else, they could have seen it completely differently. So you can't just draw the line in the sand. You can't just go, no, because I know this is what it is, you have to get in line. It's like, no. If you have understanding of both sides, then we can start working to build something together.
Yeah, most times people's perception becomes their reality.
Yes, yeah.
So
What was that softball question you threw out a second?
What do you think is the most important thing we teach each other as a family?
Yeah, I
One
think-
of the most important.
No, that's great. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it softened a little bit for me. I mean, for us, I just want us to love really well.
Yeah.
I want us to love each other really, and that's expressed in a lot of different ways, with kindness, with respect, with empathy, with consideration. But I feel like, I'm like, man, if I fail at a lot of stuff as a parent, but at the end of the day, my family loves each other well,
Yeah.
I think I'll feel pretty rewarded. And of course, that translates to how we interact and engage the world.
Yeah.
And there's so much hate and division. I want us to be a very loving family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I don't have to add to that.
Okay, do you have an answer?
I would say that sounded great.
Right.
No.
Yeah, no, I would say the same thing. I think so much flows out of that. And so if we can get good at that, I think we're doing all right. Yeah. Yeah.